Hello. This is Elizabeth Griffin, the Black Romance Writer, and welcome back to my channel. It is Sunday morning, January the 8th at 12:24 a.m. And I am up working on my series for Kindle Vella called Virgineista. And I started this series some months ago, and I only wrote one episode because I wasn't quite sure where I was going with this story. The only thing that I really knew was that it is young adult fiction, uh, and it's starring teenage girls and pre-teenage girls. So the age group is around 13, 14. And this particular series, Virginista, is a club that a young black teen started, and the characters in Virginista, they are a chapter of a group called, or a sorority called, Rho Alpha Kappa. And Rho Alpha Kappa is started by a black teen, and she's going to have her own story. And the name of her series is called Virgin Pack. And so I haven't quite worked out how I want to tell the Virgin Pack story or series, but I realized that I could start writing Virginista because I had a good idea of what I wanted to say. So it's kind of interesting. It's like the original story idea, the Virgin Pack, that story hasn't been written, but I started the second series, Virginista. So I kind of did it backwards. But anyway, I wrote it an episode about some months ago, and then I wasn't sure what to do with the story. I wasn't sure what the storyline would be about, what the characters was about. All I knew was that I wanted to tell a story encouraging young girls to hold on to their virginity and reasons why. And I wanted to do it in a playful, teenage kind of way. And so I wrote the first episode, and it's been marinating in my mind for months and months and months. And the reason I'm making this video today is it hit me today what the storyline is about and the characters. So I got a clearer vision of where I want the story to go. So I wanted to tell those of you out there who are writing and you may become upset or bothered that you don't see the clear picture from beginning to end of your series or your story or your novel. Sometimes that's not going to happen. Sometimes you're not going to know until maybe you're halfway into the story what the ending will be. Sometimes you may not know the ending for a while. You may have ideas of what you'd like the ending to be, but they don't quite feel right to you. So for this particular story, The Virginista, it's all becoming very clear now. I have one character who's going to be a virgin hunter. And what that means is she's going to be watching the young women in the sorority group who are proclaiming to be virgins. So she has a camera and she's going to be following them around, and she's waiting for them to mess up because she thinks they're self-righteous and sanctimonious. And she also has a personal vendetta against the group. She has an older sister who wanted to join, and the older sister was disqualified from joining because the older sister is no longer a virgin. So the younger sister, who is the virgin hunter, she is tracking all of the young ladies in the organization. And it kind of reminds me of Gossip Girl, where there, I believe it's like emails or emails documenting, or I think it was like a blog actually, that was spilling the tea or spilling information about the women in this elite, actually the teenagers in this elite group. And obviously, Gossip Girls was a book, and then it became a series, and it was very popular. I also came across something on Kindle Vella. I believe it's called Royal Sins. It's a series there. And it looks like they're using that same type of technique where they are blogging or they are emailing or they're documenting the activities of the royal family in this particular series. And I haven't read it. I just read an excerpt, and I thought it was kind of interesting. If you watch Bridgerton, you'll know that in that series there is a woman that is writing these letters and publishing these letters and is documenting all the salacious things that are going on in England. So I like that concept of documenting, of hunting, of putting people's business out there in the street, and I'm using that idea in my story, Virgineista. I'm also up late because I'm realizing that I need to produce. I need to produce whether I feel like it or not, because this is a job. Writing is a job. And I'm trying to sometimes motivate myself, because early today I didn't feel like writing. I didn't feel like really doing anything. I was exhausted from working a full week and then trying to write episodes whenever I can, so that I can produce or publish every day. I am seeing activity on Kindle Vella, which makes me happy. I'm seeing that people are reading certain series. I know someone read 7 episodes of Take Me, and that was one of my series that was just sitting there. And then I know someone else a couple of days read a couple of episodes in The Innocent Bride. So what I'm thinking and what I'm realizing is that although His Dangerous Obsession is my number one Kindle Vella series with 45 episodes, I'm realizing that I can easily have more than one series that is popular and that will garner attention. So I need to continually produce on these other series as well, and give them maybe not equal weight, because His Dangerous Obsession has the most interest right now, but give them a good amount of weight, because for all I know, Virgineista could all of a sudden be in the lead as far as my sellers, or it could be Take Me, or you never know. That's the funny thing I'm finding about writing. The things or the books or the stories or the story ideas that you think will take off, usually it's that one that you really didn't consider being something that people would enjoy or love, and you're just writing it because it's in you and you want to get it out. And I'm finding and I'm realizing that you can't disqualify your writing, because you never know who will like what that you've written. So you could write one series that appeals to a particular group. You could write another series that appeals to another group. I wrote Cargo, and this is a Kindle Vella that I wrote. It's a short story, and it's under E.F. Griffin. I wrote that in about 3 or 4 days. It's about human trafficking, and I'm thinking, nobody's going to really want to read this. The idea came about because I was looking at Spanish newspapers, and there was a particular Spanish paper that had a woman on the front cover, and her mouth was bandaged or taped up. And then I realized, that looks interesting. So it was a free paper. I took the free Spanish paper and I started reading it, and I was like, human trafficking. That is something interesting. And my son just walked in, so if you hear him in the background, I'm in my dining room, and I decided to make this video to encourage you. But anyway, I was thinking, that's an interesting subject matter, human trafficking. I said, but nobody's going to be interested in that. I don't even know if I can write it. So I did all this research. And then the style of writing that I wanted to use, or I chose, was first person present tense. And first person present tense it's an enjoyable format. It brings the reader closer to the characters, because everything is first tense. Everything is up close and personal. But in using that style, there are some times when you have to use past tense. So most of the story is told in first tense, but then sometimes, or first person, and then sometimes you're going to have to use third person if you're talking about the past. So I had to work out the mechanics of when to use present tense, when to use past tense, and to incorporate it. I also wanted to use a simplistic structure. So I wanted to use a lot of simple sentences. And I'm thinking grown people are not going to want to read stories that have these simple sentences, these fast sentences. They may want more detail, more drawn out sentences. But I said, you know what? I'm going to write this the way I see it in my mind. Good night. Bye-bye. I'm going to write it in the way I see it in my mind, and I'm just going to produce it,